Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden II, the president of these United States, the winner of the 2020 election. Once again, everyone, I would like to remind you all that Donald Trump is the loser of the 2020 election. He lost. That's why Joe Biden is giving this speech that I'm about to play a clip from, and Donald Trump is not, because Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Joe Biden was the winner and continues to be the winner and is continuing to be the president. But Joe Biden, Joe 2 Biden, reminder, I'd like to remind everyone there was Joe Biden, then there's Joe Biden 2, the current president, and then there's Joe Biden 3, a.k.a. Beau Biden, a.k.a. that guy's dead. So we got Joe Biden 2, which is the most successful of the Bidens, and he gave a speech here, and this was clipped out. This is making the rounds today, this morning. But apparently the speech was sometime yesterday. But, you know, he's in Europe at the time, right? So, you know, the time zones and all that stuff. So he was giving a speech. You know, he's touring all the OTAN countries, and he's, okay, so he says in this clip, for God's sake, this man cannot remain in power. He's talking about Vlad, my boy Vlad Putin, the world's most cringiest leader. Actually, that's not true. It still might be like MBS. But also, you know, he's up there. Vlad is pretty garbage. But anyway, let's play this clip from Bloomberg Quickie, and then we'll see. You know, then I'll give my response. But, you know, people are, of course, you know, let's just give it a shot. This is a low volume. This is a low volume experience. This is Bloomberg Quickie is posting this. Like, can't they just, like, stabilize the audio or something?
Russia, where free people refused to live in a world of hopelessness and darkness. We will have a different future, a brighter future, rooted in democracy and principle, hope and light, of decency and dignity, of freedom and possibilities. For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power. God bless you all, and may God defend our freedom, and may God protect our troops.
By the way, the irony of talking about, oh, freedom, liberal democracy, yay, and then, like, punching it down with God. God is the antithesis of freedom, motherfucker. Right? How are you going to say, oh yeah, the free world, the West, the freedom and democracy, we're free, we love democracy, we're so free. By the way, God, I love God. I'm a Catholic, by the way, I love God. God, please blow me, God, I love God. I'm just saying, it's a little weird, a little strange. But also, for God's sake, this man cannot remain in power. So people are misinterpreting this, you know, in my estimation, misinterpreting this as Joe Biden calling for regime change. Now, I will say, my opinion, I think the world would be a better place if Putin killed himself. Hey, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. That said, I'm not the United States president, right? So if the United States president is going out there and saying, yo, this guy would probably be better off if he weren't in power, you know, he's speaking on behalf of the country. That's a little, you know, it's a little instigative. It could cause problems. Right now, again, I personally do agree that if Vladimir Putin killed himself, shot himself in the face maybe a couple times, you know, like maybe blew his fucking face off, I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be chill. You know, and I think the world would probably be a better place. Now, again, we could be wrong. Right, it's like those like alternate like histories where Hitler kills himself in like 1942, and then like his second in command takes power, and then like they win world. You know, like, you know, there's all these kind of fantasy stories. You know, so it could be even worse. You know, it's possible, right? But I'm just saying, you know, my personal thing. You know, Putin. You know, Pooty Poot, not so good. But again, the president saying this, it's, you know, to use a word that everyone loves, it's a little problematic. You know, again, he's speaking on behalf of this country. In this instance, he's speaking on behalf of OTAN, because he's touring the OTAN military alliance countries. And so, you know, again, OTAN saying, you know, again, this is going to be interpreted as OTAN saying, oh, by the way, we really don't want this guy in power. Russia's going to just say, oh, they're trying to change regimes. They're trying to launch a war. They're trying to cancel Russia. Cancel culture. They're going to cancel Russia. You know, so again, I'm just saying, probably not the best thing to do if you were the president of the United States. Now, again, I agree. I like, you know, fuck Pooty Poot, fuck him. You know, but probably, you know, again, I'm not the president. I'm some stupid bitch in my bedroom doing a podcast, right? So it's like, you know, if I were the president, maybe I wouldn't say that he should probably, be better off dead. I'm just saying maybe I would say, I don't know, something else. Maybe I'd say, like, Putin, you're a bad guy. And maybe I'll do, like, the Hillary Clinton method. And I walked on down to Moscow and I told them to cut it out. Maybe, like, I'm just saying, I don't know. Now, again, there's a lot of, this is obviously, this analysis is in the sense of, like, if you think that this is escalating tensions between OTAN and Russia that potentially would break out into a larger scale conflict or war, I don't necessarily view that as a good thing. That said, it's, again, this is a very complicated, messy situation. I think the best scenario, would be if Putin killed himself and then, like, someone took command and they were someone that had enough sense to say, hey, let's probably stop this fucking stupid ass invasion. That's my ideal scenario. I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't know what the second best scenario is. I am not the president. I am not in this position. I am not a foreign policy expert. I am some dumb bitch in my bedroom. Now, again, that said, I still have my opinion and I'm allowed to present my opinion. I do think it would probably be better off if Putin, probably. But again, it's possible that someone second in command could take place and be even more fucked up. Again, I don't know. The order of succession or, the secession or whatever the order is. Order of succession, that's it. I don't know what that is. I'm not an expert on Russian, what their Russian military is. Like, who would take over, what their opinions are potentially. I don't know all that stuff. So again, this is my opinion. Probably not the best thing to say if you don't want escalating tensions between OTAN and the Russian Federation. But that being said, if you do want escalating conflict, maybe this is a good idea. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just giving my take. I don't think it's the best move if you want to avoid conflict. But also, I can't say I disagree with Joe Biden. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, he's not wrong. Right? Like, he's not wrong. Like, Putin should not be in power. He's not wrong. But again, is that something the U.S. should have any control over? I'm going to go ahead and probably say no on that one. But the idea that we can't just sit here and all think, yeah, Putin sucks and he should probably be killed, do what Hitler did. I'm just saying it's a recommendation, learn from history. I think that it's pretty obvious. Anyone with a brain, I think, would say Putin is a bad guy and should probably kill himself. That's my opinion. I think that that's the opinion of most people. But again, the world as it's constructed, probably not going to be the best idea. So just throwing this out there. But we'll see. We'll see how the Russian, propaganda campaigns take this one. It should be interesting. But again, we're in some messy times here. Very messy times. Again, I just want to once again say that the people in Ukraine, in their estimation from everyone who lives in Ukraine that I've spoken to, including regular viewers and people that, watch my streams, people that watch my videos that have, they can't, make the streams, so they don't know the chat as much. But, they've wrote to me and they've said that I would say it's my understanding, right? And again, as an American that's only speaking to people on the ground online, it is my understanding that Ukrainian civilians are under the perception that World War III has already started, and that the domino effect from this point is maybe it won't be nuclear, right? But again, the idea that OTAN and Russia aren't going to be in open, hot conflict, people in Ukraine seem to think that that's not going to happen, that it's going to happen eventually, I mean to say. And that, so the differences would be if OTAN steps in now and defends Ukrainian civilians and helps people not die, or they step in later after, Ukraine has been destroyed and eradicated and there's a complete cultural genocide, right? So if that's the case, right, with that understanding, it makes sense why Zelensky would want for a no-fly zone, want NATO, OTAN more involved. That makes sense. I agree that if that is your perception, right, and again, I'm in the United States of America, I'm not dealing with the, extreme personal fallout from this invasion, and so I understand why people would think that, and again, if that is the operating principle, if you are under the perception that World War III is already here and it's already started, and the only difference is OTAN gets involved before or after Ukraine is wiped off the face of the earth, again, it makes sense to advocate for OTAN involvement. If that's the case, I am, again, as an American, I am not in the war zone. I am not facing the direct consequences of this, right? As an American, I am concerned. I am afraid of things like nuclear war. I am afraid of direct conflict between nuclear powers. I am afraid of that kind of stuff because, to me, I feel like that would impact me more likely. And again, that is ultimately a selfish perspective. And so I'm just letting you know, I think it is. Now, again, that said, Ukrainian position, also a selfish perspective. But again, selfish doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. People are going to have their different opinions based on their material circumstances where they are. People are a product of their environment. If you are getting missiles dropped on you for 30 days in a row, yeah, World War III, it's already here, right? What's the difference between you getting murdered by Russia right now versus everyone in the world getting murdered by Russia? You're still going to die, right? So I understand. I empathize with what's happening in Ukraine. Again, I'm afraid of nuclear war, so I hesitate to say OTAN should be involved. But again, I'm an American. I'm probably going to be okay, for the most part, unless there's complete nuclear annihilation, right? So, again, that's why I'm concerned about that. But at the same time, I cannot possibly judge anyone at all in Ukraine, Zelensky, anyone at all, claiming that they want OTAN involvement, that they want a no-fly zone. I understand it's an understandable position from their, position where they are. Again, it's very complicated. I can't tell you, what the correct answer is because I don't think there is a correct answer. Not everything has a correct answer. I think this is a case where there is not a correct answer. So, there you go. But all I do know, what I can say, that it is a correct answer that Putin is a fucking motherfucker and should probably not be in power. I think that you can pretty much, anyone that would disagree is probably crazy, probably a psychopath. Now, again, you can say that the runner-up might be even worse. That's possible, right? But again, let's assume Putin himself, just for the sake of justice, should probably not be the president. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, I agree with Biden on this one. But also, the U.S. president saying this, it's not so good. It's making things a little bit more, tumultuous, I suppose. But there you go. That's my opinion. Joe Biden, this man cannot remain in power. This man being Vladimir Putin.